All right, mindful nerd moment. So, I thought it could be fun to do mindfulness surrounding Clark's inevitable constant coming into contact with kryptonite in Smallville. It just has to be so stressful.
Just writhing on the floor in pain.
It has to be so stressful to be so strong, so impervious to all these things that you have to hide it. But then also you're writhing on the floor almost dead every other
I
episode.
res- I respect that at least they give him that weakness, unlike
That's true.
Superman Returns when he lifts an island of kryptonite into space.
I know how much you love that scene. Yeah, this show, so granted I didn't rewatch later seasons, so maybe things shifted, but they do a really good job of consistently he is taken out by that kryptonite.
Yeah, like
Yeah. So I was thinking what we could do is have him have him walking up to, I thought Lana would be a nice predictable one because we know she's got the kryptonite necklace. And so him trying to mindfully walk up to Lana during the times that she has that necklace. Uh because he knows he's going to have a reaction. So now that he's learned about kryptonite, one of the tricky things is sometimes when we know that something unpleasant is going to happen, we can have anticipatory anxiety about it or other anticipatory reactions. Some people actually have anticipatory nausea or vomiting when it comes to like medical or physical things that happen because their body knows what's coming. Their mind knows what's coming, even though it hasn't happened yet. So that anticipation. Um, and then also just generally the way we think about what's coming up next. Sometimes we almost inadvertently make ourselves more miserable because we just keep focusing on what's coming up that we don't want to happen. We don't want to feel what's going to happen when the kryptonite is there. But we're going to go up to Lana anyway, but we keep fighting it in our brain. And so not only do you have your reaction, but you also have all the stress and worry of fighting with yourself internally about what's about to happen, kind of thing. I see you nodding, so it seems like you get where Clark's coming from here.
feel that.
Yeah. So we're going to practice just trying to help him deal with that kryptonite as best he can so it doesn't end up just snowballing into a whole bigger thing for him. All right. So sit straight but comfortably. You can close your eyes or just soften your gaze so you're not looking at anything in particular. And first, use your breath to just help you focus in on my voice and on the mindful nerd moment. You don't need to breathe in any particular way. There's no right or wrong. Just using that steady in and out of your breath to help you with focusing. And if at any point you get distracted, that's totally normal. Just pull yourself back to your breath and to my voice and what I'm describing for you. So I want you to imagine you're Clark Kent, you're in Smallville, and I want you to imagine that you see Lana. Maybe it's over at the farm, maybe it's at school, wherever you choose. You look over, you see Lana over there, and get those little heart flutters. Then you notice a sense of dread. You don't feel well. And that's not something you normally feel, and you're not even close to her. I mean, she's wearing her necklace. You know that she's wearing that, but you're not close enough to feel that. But it's almost as if that's what's happening. And you want to go up to Lana, but you're worried about the necklace. You don't want to feel what you feel with the kryptonite. You feel just some tension rising, some anxiety, nausea, weakness, and you realize that you're working yourself up, and it's just adding to the whole situation. So you just step back for a moment in your mind and take a deep but careful breath. You don't want to accidentally blow anyone away. You take a controlled breath in and out, you acknowledge that, yes, I'm going to feel weak and nauseous when I approach Lana. And talking to Lana is worth it to me. So you remind yourself of this. You remind yourself that you can't control the reaction to the kryptonite, but you can control how far away you are from her, how long you're there. You've done this before, you can do it again. You take one more breath, breathing in and out. You acknowledge the worry. You acknowledge the nausea. You acknowledge the sense, the feeling of being weak. And you acknowledge the desire to talk to Lana anyway. And you start to walk over to her. And she turns, she smiles, she waves hello. You say hi back. And you start to talk to her. Yes, you feel a little nausea, you feel a bit weak, and you're able to talk to her. When you're ready, first I want you to ask Clark, give yourself a pat on the back in that sheepish farm boy way that he might do. And when you're ready, shift back into yourself and we'll wrap up the mindful nerd moment. So, how was that for you?
Definitely different from how I would have handled it. I would have just walked away.
Interesting.
I would have said, you know what? This is because well, I guess I know that like when it first happens to him, he doesn't even realize. I think that it's the kryptonite. He's just
Yeah.
like, oh, look, I don't know what's happening right now. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if he's better than me because if I fell down, I would have ran away. I would have ran away. I would have probably
Ooh.
changed schools the next day,
Yeah.
or just homeschool and just lift tractors all day.
Yep. That's
That's just
actually another really great one to do. That scene was very early on in season 1.
mhm,
That'd be another great one where maybe it's early on and you literally fall and kind of make a fool of yourself in front of kids at school and doing that same thing. Okay, let me take a breath. Let me take a moment. This is something different. I don't like it. This is embarrassing. And so, really, at the end of the day, mindfulness is about trying to help you manage your reactions to the point where you are able to keep in mind the present and what's truly important. So, walking away, he'd never get to talk to Lana. Now, granted, then he'd never date her, and then she dates Lex
yeah,
later, and things get complicated. But,
definitely.
let's not get technical.